Trail talk time. Out on another beauty of a trail. Breathing in that fresh chi. Soaking up the sunny rays. Loving this beautiful breeze today. And today I wanted to talk about dealing with negative people in your life. You know, I'm sure we all have dealt with some negative people before. Sometimes it's, harder to get away with them. Sometimes it might just be a short instance, and sometimes it might be people that we're working with or people that we're close to. They might even live with us, and they can really try our patience. And so I wanted to share some things that, I've learned about and that have helped me in my life. Dealing with people who are constantly just negative and bringing you down and draining your energy. And a couple main things that I like to remember is just to, remain compassionate towards them, right? People who are, sucked into a lot of negativity, they clearly need that love. They need love more than anyone. And so if you can be the one to just, offer that love and compassion towards them, that empathy, then that's going to be super helpful in actually helping them become a less negative person. But the other thing is to remember that you don't necessarily have to help somebody. It's not necessarily your responsibility, to change someone's life or to try and fix them. And in most cases, if it comes across that way, that you're trying to fix them, then, it's going to be pushed back against you, and there's going to be more resistance and more defenses that come up, which just, reinforces that negativity. And so if you want to be the one that tries to help them and, do what you can to be with them and try and help, then I think the best thing is to just hold that space. Hold space and listen and come from a sort of neutral space. But if there's people, let's say at your workplace, that are bombarding you with negativity all the time, there's a few techniques that have helped me. Just remaining in your own positive energy and not getting sucked into their downward spiral is definitely going to help, right? Instead of trying to come back at them with that negativity and try and fight it, just remain in your positive stance and be that, positive example for them, so that, they can pick up on your energy, right? Because just like others' negative energy can affect you and infect you, your positive energy can do the same for them, right? So if you hold strong in your stance, in your positive vibe, then that's just going to keep spilling out and spilling off onto them. And like I said, you don't have to try and fix their problems and try and tell them what's going wrong in their life and, try and tell them they shouldn't be angry or they shouldn't be negative, because that's just going to put up their defenses even more, right? Even stronger. And, if you have to spend time with these people, then sometimes you can learn how to, move and shift that energy. If they start getting off on a negative, rant or something, try and shift the conversation, right? You can ask them certain questions that will start to, bring about a different type of mindset. If it's about the same situation, then you can try and, get them to see the positives from that situation and ask them, what can they take from that situation that might be actually helpful? What can they learn? And if it just continues on and they can't really see the positive in that situation, then a good technique is just to really, shift the conversation completely to something else that is going to bring them into a more positive state, right? So it's good to actually get to know these people and start to figure out, well, what makes them happy? What makes them feel good? What do they enjoy about life? And start to ask questions about that, right? So you can shift the conversation when they get into those negative spirals and start to bring up the things that'll actually bring up their energy more. Whether it be their hobbies, if they like a certain TV show or they're into sports or something, you can start to shift the conversation or the topic into that topic that they like and the things that bring them joy. And all of a sudden, they might even just forget about whatever it is that they were feeling negative about, right? And another thing that can be really helpful is to, show them that extra bit of love by actually going out of your way sometimes to do kind things for them. Whether it be giving them a gift or just a simple compliment here or there, or actually, offering them your friendship and offering to spend some more time with them, maybe outside of work or wherever it is that you normally interact with them. And a good technique is actually to, involve a group situation, right? Get them out into a group of people where, everybody is going to be on the same page. They're also going to be treating this person with compassion. Obviously, you don't want it to be a situation where everyone's turning against this person, but quite the opposite. They need support. They need some positive, loving support. And so if you can bring them into a group, a support circle, this is going to help tremendously, right? All of that beautiful energy can start to diffuse their negative energy. And again, they'll start to be infected by all of this beautiful, positive energy, all of that love. And it will start to shift them and bring them out of that funk. And sometimes, when it can just become too much, we actually have to learn how to protect our own energy, right? And not allow them to continue to bring us down. So it's okay to cut somebody off, right? Whether just in the moment by walking away, doing it in a polite way, of course, not to be rude to them. Because again, that's just sinking to their level and it might actually make things worse in the moment or in the long run. So doing it in a kind way and polite way and just saying, you know what, I've got to go right now. I've got to get back to work or I've got to go do something else. I'm sorry, but see you later, right? Something simple as that can pull you away from the situation. You don't have to remain with them. If you can do that, then that's a great technique, right? And in the long term, looking at people in your life who are just constantly negative and bringing you down every time you have a conversation or when they're around you, even if it might be tough, they might be a friend that you've had for a long time or something. You have to ask yourself, is it really worth my time and energy to be with these people, to spend time with them? And if it's not, then as hard as it might be, you might have to cut them out of your life if you can completely, right? I've had to do this with friends in my life, and it can be tough. But you have to do what's best for yourself. And it's not selfish because, we all have to find out what's healthy for ourselves. And if somebody is constantly bringing you down, then it's not worth keeping them around in your life. You have to find a healthy circle, because you're going to start to become like the people that are closest to you, right? They say we become most like the 5 people that we spend the most time with. So it's important to be wise about who you choose to surround yourself with, right? We can choose this. And that's why I wanted to share some of these tips, because sometimes, we can do our best to choose, but sometimes we really have people around us sometimes that we can't just choose to, kick them out of our life. They might be around us. So we have to learn how to work with them and deal with them. And those are some things that have helped me, right? Just to remain compassionate with them and realize that they need love more than anyone, especially in those moments where they're just feeling so sucked down into negativity. They might just need somebody to listen to them just for a moment, and just to feel some type of connection, like somebody is hearing me, somebody is feeling me, right? And we've all had those moments too where we've been negative, right? We've had those moments where we need to reach out to somebody, and we might just need to vent, and we might need to get something off of our chest, and we just need someone to listen, to hear us, to feel us, what we're going through. Because the toughest thing when we're going through something negative is to be alone with it, right? To feel like I'm the only one who feels this right now and nobody understands me. So if you can show somebody that you're there for them, you're there with them, and you understand what they're going through, then that might be just what they need at the moment, right? And that's the difference between empathy and sympathy. Like, you don't want to make the person feel like you're feeling bad for them, because that makes it seem like you think you're better than them. It's important not to bring about that dynamic, but to come from empathy, which is actually showing them that you're equal. You're on a heart-to-heart level, and you're feeling where they're coming from. You're putting yourself in their shoes, in their perspective. And when you can do that, then you start to feel compassion for them and say, wow, they're going through something right now and they need some love and maybe some guidance. But again, it's not always necessarily your responsibility to be the one to help them. So it's great if you can do what you can to help them. But don't allow negative people to be a burden in your life, right? And to constantly be coming to you and bringing down your energy. It's not your responsibility to do that. So, yeah, that's all I wanted to share for today. I hope it was helpful. And if you have any, negative people in your life, maybe these things can start to, help if you just remember sometimes that you have been negative, and remember that we're all human beings, right? Nobody's perfect, and we can't be expected to be positive all the time anyways, right? Sometimes people just have a bad day as well. They might not necessarily be a negative person, but if we start to see that pattern and that trend, then sometimes, we have to learn how to separate ourselves from these people that are constantly bringing us down for our own well-being. And that's okay to do so, to give yourself permission to cut people off in your life. Like I said, it can be hard, especially if you've had a relationship with someone for so long. And we can constantly go back in our mind and think about the past and how we used to have a lot of good times and try and hold on to them so much, but it might be better for both of us in the end to just cut that tie and go our separate ways, right? So I want to leave that with you, you know, just to think about all the people that you keep around yourself in your life and how you've been dealing with them. And if there's, you know, better ways that you can start to, you might have to just bite the bullet and, you know, figure out a new solution, maybe a new environment to place yourself in, or a new way to deal with these people. And it's going to be so helpful and feel so good in the long run, believe me. So yeah, that's it for today. Have an amazing day. Peace and limitless love.